Hello everybody, this is Chase again, and today I want to talk about a brand new product that just came out this week from the American Printing House for the Blind. This is the BookPort Plus, and it is made to replace the old BookPort. It does a lot of cool features that the old BookPort didn't, such as playing NLS books, books from audible.com, RFB&D, and it even has a Wi-Fi chip in it to go on the internet in the future. BookPort Plus is a new digital talking book reader, and it is a little bit smaller than other devices. It uses the same hardware as the Plex Talk Pocket, if you're familiar with that, except it has APH firmware, which it runs quite a bit smoother. I'll first start out by comparing it to the old BookPort, which it replaced. This was one of the very first book readers available. And as you can see, if you have sight, the original BookPort is quite a bit bigger. It is thicker, it uses larger memory cards with less capacity, and I'm now putting the BookPort on top of the BookPort Plus, and they're about the same in length and width. BookPort Plus might be just a little bit narrower and just a tiny bit shorter, but it's way thinner. I'll next compare it to an iPod Touch, which many of you might be familiar with. It is an accessible iPod from Apple. Now, we're now comparing them. The iPod Touch is just probably not even half an inch longer, but it is quite a bit wider, and it is a little bit thinner, but it is an iPod. The last thing I'd like to compare it to is the very popular Victor Reader Stream from Humanware. As you can see, the BookPort Plus is quite a bit smaller than the Stream. It's thinner, it's narrower, but it is about the same in length. And the BookPort Plus has more features than the Victor Reader Stream. We'll now start out by telling you about where the buttons are on the BookPort Plus, and in future videos we'll get into the operation of the device. The correct operating position for the BookPort Plus is when the telephone-styled keypad is facing you and the speaker grill is facing away from you. The BookPort Plus will come without the battery inserted, so I'm going to flip over my BookPort Plus. And
11:23 a.m.
Now you heard that it came on and told me the time because I think it bumped a button when it flipped over. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the key lock so we don't bump buttons.
Key lock on.
I flipped the switch up, which we'll get to later. On the back, to take the battery cover off, you'll push down on a little button with your fingernail and slide the cover out. Now you see the battery compartment with the battery. You might want to turn the BookPort Plus sideways so you can stick your fingernail in the little slot by the button you push to eject the battery cover. Lift up on the battery and it comes out. It is a very, very small and thin battery, and it is user replaceable, and you can purchase new ones from the American Printing House for the Blind. To put the battery in, if you feel on the right side of the compartment, you'll feel a little lip. You want to make sure that the battery goes under the lip and then push down, and it slides right into place. Now you'll want to take the battery cover, and you'll feel two lines on the battery cover. Make sure that it's going away from you, and then put it on, and then slide it up. Now it might not go down all the way in the back or the part facing you, so you might want to kind of push that down and then slide it in like that. And you heard it click, and that means that the battery cover is in place. And this battery cover does not come off, as you have to push a button to get it off, so you don't have to worry about it falling off when it's in your pocket. I've now flipped the BookPort Plus around to its normal operating position, and furthest away from you, you feel a ridged surface or a grill, and this is where the internal monaural microphone and the internal speaker are housed. The microphone is very high quality and sounds quite good, so you can make some pretty decent recordings just with that built-in microphone. And the speaker can go quite loud, though if you're going to be playing a book and the BookPort Plus won't be near you, you will want headphones or external speakers. Below this grill, you will feel two buttons spaced apart, one on the left side and one on the right side of the unit. The left one is flat, and these are both oval-shaped buttons. The one on the left is the record button. The one on the right has two raised dots, and this is the power and sleep button. You hold the button for power, and you just tap the button to adjust the sleep timer. You don't need to go into the menus to set the sleep timer. Below this, you have two keys. These are the Go to Page key and the Bookmark key. On the right side, you have on the top the menu key, and on the bottom you have the button which will switch you between USB media and thumb drives, or USB media as the BookPort Plus calls it, as well as voice memos. So there's two buttons on either side. In the middle of that, you have your arrow keys, the down, left, up, and right keys, with a round button in the center which is enter or select. Below this, you have your standard telephone style keypad with a very pronounced nib on the number 5. So in the top row you have 1, 2, 3, second row 4, 5, 6, third row 7, 8, 9, and the bottom row star, 0, and pound. These change in functionality depending on what you are doing, and we will get to the operation of these in future videos. That is all that is on the face of the unit. On the left side of the unit, you have the SD card slot. The BookPort Plus can use standard SD cards or SD high capacity cards up to 32 gigabytes. To release the SD card, as when you get your BookPort Plus, there will be one inserted. It comes with a 2 gig card. You push down on the card and you hear it click, and then you let go. It pops out far enough that you can grab it with your finger and pull the card out of the machine. To get it back in, you make sure that the side of the card with the bumps on it is going into the unit, and the bumps are facing down. These are the little ridges on the bottom of the card, that is. You simply put the card into the BookPort Plus, and then you push down with your fingernail, and you hear it click, and then let go, and it will be in place. That is all that is on the left side of the unit. On the right side of the unit, you have two controls, a spring-loaded switch and a regular switch. The top, the spring-loaded one, serves multiple functions. You adjust these functions by pressing the 2 key. You can set the speed of the guide voice, the volume, the tone, or the speed of what you are listening to. So to increase whatever you are doing, such as volume, press this button up, away from you, and you will either hear a beep or the guide voice saying whatever you are adjusting, followed by a number. You can pull the switch down towards you to decrease the value. Below that, you have your key lock switch. To unlock the keys, make sure the switch is down. To lock the keys, press the switch up. The BookPort Plus will tell you if it is on, key lock on, or key lock off. On the bottom of the unit, you have 2 ports. These on the left is your AC charger port, and on the right is your mini USB port. You can plug several things into the USB port. You can either use this to connect the BookPort Plus to your computer, or you can use an adapter cable to plug in a external CD or DVD drive, external flash drive, or external hard drive. Or a cable to connect to one of the new NLS cartridges. So that has several functions. You can also charge your BookPort Plus over USB. And on the top of the unit, on the top of the unit, you have 2 3.5 millimeter 1/8 inch jacks. These on the left are your microphone or line-in jack, and the one to the right of that is your headphone or external speaker jack. These are similar to other ports of the same function on almost any device. We've already discussed the back of the unit, which has the battery and the battery cover on it, and that is all the buttons on the BookPort Plus. We'll be back in a future video with how to operate the unit and how to send files to the unit from the PC, but that is all for this video.